We're back in Qatar and we're together with Pinar, April athlete,
Hello.
espresso brewer. It's always fun to be here. We have been training together now for a few days.
Yes.
What are we training for, Pinar?
We are training for calibration espresso for 10 minutes only. And just inside the 10 minutes, I should serve to really best shots of espresso. And we have Kenyan and we have Colombian coffee.
Costa Rican
I will
coffee,
serve
no?
Costa Rican coffee, and I will serve really good shot of espresso.
So the whole point is that when you're competing, one of the most difficult part in the barista is to actually make sure that your coffee tastes good on stage, right?
Yes, it's most important.
Yeah, and when you're training backstage, you're not actually training on the machine you are going to compete with. You train on another machine, even if it's the same model.
Yes.
So you never really know what's to happen. So you have 15 minutes to set up for your practice time on stage.
Yes.
And when we compete, we basically put 10 of those minutes for focusing on making the espresso very, very tasty, right? Because that's the difficult part. So that's what we're going to have Pinar do now, basically, and also share a few notes about the coffees we're trying.
Yes.
And she will just show you how she brews espresso.
Yes.
Go for it, no?
Okay. Firstly, I will start with Kenyan.
Very good.
Okay.
So the Kenyan coffee that we have now is wash process SL28, SL34 from the Gatharini process station. A lot of people don't like Kenyan espresso. What do you think about it? You didn't know?
Yeah, I didn't know, and no, I like too much actually, because I was waiting. I think everyone will wait. It will be very acidic and I cannot test too much. I am always using your Kenyan coffee for filter, but we just tried yesterday and it's really very tasty espresso as well, I think.
I think it's been one of our tastiest espressos we've done here actually, which is pretty funny. It's also a roast date that is relatively old as well. It's
But
about
still
1.5 months, but still very, very good, right? And I think it's one of those ideas, but when it comes to Kenyan coffee, you just need to have an idea about how you actually should be brewing it, right? We've been changing a few things in the recipe for the Kenyan coffee to kind of make that taste even better, right?
Yes. For now, I will brew 21 gram of coffee and with 45 gram volume. Firstly, I will try and we will explain you.
How many seconds are you trying?
I am focusing the 28 seconds for this profile.
Okay, so a bit
but
longer, yeah.
we will see.
Very good.
Normally we are brewing your coffee more shorter, but this is actually for filter, and that's why I am brewing. I am just focusing to brew more longer time.
Longer time,
yes,
yeah.
That's why.
So you basically say that sometimes when the coffee is roasted a lot longer or a bit lighter, you would actually brew it longer than if you have a slightly heavier roast.
Yes.
Yeah.
First I am trying longer, but of course I am trying also shorter one.
Yeah, sure.
But always I think longer one is working when it's more lighter than usual.
So what we have here basically, and we'll give you some close-ups on it as well. So 25 seconds.
Yeah,
That's what we ended up
it
with.
came 25.
Yeah.
It's my first time I am trying. And
We had 45 grams out, right?
yeah, 45
Roughly.
gram
Yeah.
and 21 gram in, 45 gram out, and 25 seconds.
Yeah. So it's important to think about when you brew espresso that the volume or the ratio between dry dose, how much coffee you use, and how much volume of espresso you get will always be the most important thing. So you shouldn't be focusing on time first. You should be focused on dry dose and volume first, right? And then the time is for fine tuning because that's going to have the least amount of impact. What are we tasting here now?
Actually, I really like too much, but you are always saying me about balance. I think we need balance for this. Actually, I am getting the flavors and I am getting the acidity really good. But I need to change something, and I need to serve you with good balance.
Good balance, okay.
Yes.
So how do we get good balance?
I think I will try with more dose, like 23 gram maybe. I will use grinded coffee 23 gram, and maybe I will get more longer seconds.
Okay.
I don't know, I will try.
Yeah. Will you change the grind size now as well, or are you just
For
gonna
now,
make
I will
more
not change.
Just more
And
coffee,
yes,
yeah.
I will try first. And
So what we're tasting right now is a tons of blackberry, basically. We had some yellow fruit
yes,
as well.
I think
Yellow
yellow.
plum,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's both. The cool thing with this coffee is that it's both blue and yellow in terms of color structure. So you have these kind of bluer berry qualities, but it's also this kind of yellow fruit, stone fruit quality to it as well, which makes it really complex and really tasty as well, right?
I think it's already really tasty for me, but
But-
I will change something.
We can always make it better. right?
Yes, of course.
So I mean, part of competing is exploring new styles of brewing and really getting a portfolio of different brewing approaches to use. So you never want to lock into, even if you have one really tasty way of brewing espresso, you still want to really explore and see how you can make that even tastier, right?
Yes, we are always trying to make more tasty than.
Always.
Yes. But I think you already tell this yesterday, but from the bad shots, it's easy to go good shot, but from the good shot, really it's not easy to go perfect one.
Exactly.
Really?
It's always easier to take something that doesn't taste
Yeah.
good and make it good. But if you want something that's already very good and you want to make that super good,
Yeah, and
then
10
that's
minutes
where it's
is very,
complicated.
very short, but
yeah.
it's
How
okay.
many espressos do you normally do
In stage?
in 10? No, yeah, basically when you're competing for those 10 minutes, right?
Yes, I think I am trying maybe 3 shots
Yeah.
because I need to clean also, and 3 shots will be enough for me.
So what we ended up here now is basically a longer brew time because of the higher dose without changing grind size. The aroma is very different. It smells
Yes,
very
smell
different.
is very
Yeah.
different.
It's actually maybe a bit sweeter.
I think. I don't know, but I think first one is really tasty for me. I don't know. It's good.
I think that's real tasty for me actually. Yeah. It's just- it's very interesting because I'm not brewing that much Kenyan coffee espresso myself as well, even though we're roasting it, and
It's better.
it's actually tasting really good. It's not. I think we can make it cleaner, right? So sometimes I find when extraction times goes above 30 seconds, you can have an issue with the espresso not being as clean as you want to. So I think what we maybe go in and do is that we go slightly coarser,
Sure.
keep the same amount of dose,
Okay.
but try to get the extraction time below 30 seconds, just
Of
to kind of
course.
clean up the taste a bit.
Okay.
So now you're using, which you always done when you're competing, you're using the distribution tool,
Yes.
the OCD tool.
Actually, I am using from Saint Anthony, but also
Before,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
This is, and you're using the Pullman tamper as well,
Yes,
right?
I
Yeah.
think it fits with me better than all tempers.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I will use this.
Before when Pinar competed, we've been using both puck press,
Yes.
and we've been using different
I use
distribution
two-man
tools
tamper.
and different tampers as well. And I think that the result is that the traditional tamper works best for you, right?
Yes, and also when you are changing your temper or another equipment too much, you cannot work with them really too long, and always you will make mistake maybe.
Yeah.
Coming.
So I think James Hoffman did a video of this as well, which is kind of amusing but very accurate, which is something about why modern espresso looks so ugly. Which is, it does look quite different when you extract these kind of coffees.
Yes.
Versus like traditional darker roasted coffees.
And no crema.
No crema.
But I think better.
Which is an issue though. I mean, when you compete, you need crema because you get 1 point from each sensory judge for crema. So if you don't have crema, you lose 4 points.
Yes, but without crema, taste is better.
That's true.
We should change it, I think.
We should change the rules in the Barista Championship
Yeah,
and take away
exactly.
the crema. Pinar
Please,
said it.
please.
I agree with you though, for sure. I mean, it should be about taste quality. The idea with crema is something that comes from a really darker roasted coffee or a very fresh coffee, right? So it's basically based on gas in the coffee. And gas doesn't taste very good.
Yes,
I think it's a very good
also.
point.
Looks good, okay, but taste is, I think, not. Taste can be better without crema.
Yeah. I think this is actually still very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think also.
We should jump over. We try. So the second coffee we have is one of the trendiest coffees you can find these days, I think. Do you want to? I call it cinnamon coffee, but Pinar doesn't really agree with that. Pinar's not getting any cinnamon in this cinnamon coffee, so
Yes,
we can't really
because
call it cinnamon.
I think it's giving me more winey taste than cinnamon.
Yeah.
And that's why I cannot say cinnamon. I can say very winey. But with milk, I think it's giving you like a sugar, cinnamon
Yeah,
sugar.
Sure. It's more cinnamon character in the coffee when you pour milk on it, basically. Let's pull a few
Okay.
shots of that as well. We should note as well, for those of you that are a bit nerdy here, we're actually working with a 21-gram basket, which would be then 1 gram bigger than the official competition basket in this case. And it's quite different. The flow rate will change quite a lot depending on the basket size, so it's something that you always need to consider when you're brewing. How are you brewing this one now?
Firstly, I will try 20 gram.
20 grams.
And I will see how it's coming out, because it's my first time also. When you are grinding, also smell is too winey, not cinnamon.
Yeah, the coffee has this really kind of red grape, red wine character to it. Sometimes with a bit of cinnamon.
Sometimes,
not.
yes.
It's, so it's basically an H1 varietal from Costa Rica, processed at the same mill that processed my company coffee for Boston as well. So it's a close kind of natural anaerobic fermentation, which is done with basically the coffee in itself and external cherries or pulp that are actually mixed into that same tank. And that creates this kind of cinnamon character to it. So this is very different from the Kenyan, right?
I think good. Yes, this is very, very different. Actually, Kenyan is, I like Kenyan more than this. Maybe interesting,
Me too,
but
yeah, sure.
really. Because this coffee is really good, really tasty, but I don't know, not always for me.
So this,
I brew it 20 gram in, and with 45 gram volume. And I brew it very short, like 20 seconds.
yeah. And I think we found, at least this trip, that a lot of the shots that are closer to 20 seconds taste very good.
Yes, yes. And I think you teach me one more profile. It's 24 and 60.
Yeah.
I think it's also very, very working very good sometimes.
Yeah, it's a bit different. I'm jumping into barista competitions myself now, so I'm kind of into this, and Pinar is laughing about that. Let's see what happens. The idea is that me and Pinar will compete together or
Yes.
against each other in Melbourne, and then we'll see
It
what
will be
happens.
amazing, of course.
Let's see. We need to first win the nationals first,
Yeah, sure.
which is difficult, which
Yeah.
is why we're practicing, right? But I think it's actually coming out very, very nice. This is also very tasty. A part of the other recipe Pinar is talking about, where we updose a lot of coffee, and we pull the shots actually with the same ratio. We just do it a lot longer. The reason for that is because you can actually roast really light and still have crema. So it's about finding a way that it's tasty and still gives you those 4 extra points from the judges, right? Because
Yes.
you don't want to lose any points.
Yeah, I need this 4 points when I am competing.
I think we all do, right? I mean, points
Yeah,
are
yeah.
very, it's all the points matter.
Yeah, always we have crema, right?
Always we do.
I think this is very good.
Tasty. I don't think
Sweet and winey.
And winey, very winey.
And yes, and
tiny bit of cinnamon, brown spice in the finish.
Maybe, but for me it's like a cacao, but real cacao, not chocolate, and it's very tasty for me. I don't know.
Yep.
But I don't know. I think Kenyan was better, really. Still.
The Kenyan has been very interesting. Maybe we should blend them, no?
No. No.
Pinar also don't believe in blends, which we don't do either, which is pretty good. Was there anything?
April blends.
April
very
blends.
Soon.
By Pinar. That could also be very cool. Maybe that's the future. Maybe April will start doing blends.
Maybe.
Most likely not.
Cinnamon and blackcurrant blend.
Which sounds very tasty, to be fair. Is there anything, before we wrap up here, Pinar, is there anything, what else, what should everyone out there brewing espresso think about, right? What's the most important part?
I think after we work for competition, after we train, you train me, I learned too many things, and always I try different profiles, because before I was not trying actually different profiles. I was always doing the same. Now I am trying too much, and I can see how much espresso, how much can change for every profile. And every time I think you can find your best test, and usually you are saying every time it should be better than this one, right?
Certainly, no.
Only 10 minutes will be enough. You should work.
No, it's important. I think the kind of 10 minutes rule that we've been practicing on now is very helpful.
And I think one more thing's important for me.
Yeah.
For example, we are right now working with you long time, but for example, we can work for another roaster also. Firstly, they need to understand, I think, roaster, because when I know right now your coffee, I don't know how you are roasting, but I can understand how it will come and what I am looking for this cup. And this is, I think, important things. After, I can calibrate it better than before. Firstly, you should understand, and you should just think about what you are looking.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And I always say, when competing or having a coffee shop, whatever you do, how you brew a coffee is decided by how that coffee is roasted, right? And Pinar has been brewing coffees I roasted for a very long time now, and always does it very well. It's funny, right?
Yes.
The first coffees we had here on this trip, everything is tasty.
Yes.
Which is normally not the case, to the same extent at least, because you actually do know how we're approaching things.
Yeah, right now I know. After 3 years.
For those of you that want to compete and jump into this, know your roaster, get a good relationship, or roast yourself, whatever you want to do. Practice a lot.
Yes, a lot.
Remember that it needs to be tasty. If it's not tasty, you're not going to win. It's very simple. You can have a beautiful presentation, expensive stuff, but it's actually, if it's not tasty, it's not going to work.
And don't stop when you find tasty. Just try to find better than tasty.
I think that's a great way to wrap this up. Thank you very much, as always, Pinar.
Thank you too.
It's always nice to meet her.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching as well. If you have any questions for Pinar or any comments, just write them down here as per usual. Thank you guys.
Thank you.